like the ocean where you're in the water and there's constantly different waves coming, and you'll kind of just pick one. You think, oh, I'll leave that one, I'll get the next one, or actually I'll leave that one and get the next one. And there's this conveyor belt of, it's a bit like food coming towards you, and like a sushi bar coming around, and I'll leave that, oh, I'll take that one. I think the difference with this is the anticipation is there's only one wave. There's only one kind of wall of water coming towards you. The whole reason that you're in the water, it might be a freezing cold day, the wind's howling, is you're waiting to catch one wave. So if you don't catch that, that's it, it's gone, you get out. So there's the anticipation of, if I miss it, that's a whole morning I've wasted, especially if you travelled some distance. Though I've caught it a million times, I've probably missed it, a bit more. And every time you catch it, every time you get that feeling when your board starts getting a little bit faster and the wave's actually grabbed hold of you and you've got that energy of the wave pushing you along, it is different every single time.
The very first time I went there to surf, I waited for 20 minutes, which isn't that long. But the wave came, I started paddling, and it died and just went underneath me. And disappointment didn't go through my head. The first thing I wanted to do was get out, chase the wave, catch it back up, and have another go. It drives you on, to paddle harder, or to get in a better spot, and to catch it next time.
River surfing's a lot different, obviously with regard to the length that you can ride a wave. Down the ocean it's 20 seconds, big long ride. On here we can ride for over an hour. When the tides aren't on, it's a very quiet place. The river's really quiet. There's no boats on it. There's no boats at all. It's not used for industry. There's nothing else going on. So it kind of, I guess, when the big tides are on and there's a few people, and it kind of brings it back to life again, which is nice to see. Years ago it would have been a really busy river. It was the original motorway of our times. The river, all the traffic would have gone up there. So although it's there's a few more people that you've got to share a wave with, it's quite nice to see people, and everyone kind of comes and goes away with a smile, which is the main thing. That's what it's all about.
There's good camaraderie amongst surfers when you know them. Often, when you go to the beach, there's a lot of sort of soloist attitude. People want to catch their waves and, don't anyone get in anyone's way. But on the river, it's completely different, It's more fun when there's people on the wave together. Some places there can be 10, sometimes 20. The most we've ever seen was about 60 in one spot. But it adds to the experience. It's more fun. Occasionally you get knocked off by someone, but there's always another tide, so we just come back and have another go.
Surfing the Bore benefits my life in the way that it is kind of how I turn off normal life, I think. You know, we all work 9 to 5, we go to work each day, and you come home, and it's just that release. I think once you're in that environment of surfing on the tide, you're absolutely focused on that 100%. So what has happened before and what's going to happen later on doesn't really kind of count, and it's just a way of switching off. I guess some people would build up to it and it'd be like a big energy thing, but for me it's kind of the opposite. It's how I wind down. That's where I get a kind of release, and that's when nothing else really matters, I guess.
Once you're on the wave, that's the hardest thing done, really. So as long as I've managed to catch it, you know, I'm happy, regardless of where you catch it, how many people, how close to the shoulder you are. And then, you know, once you're up and riding, you just think, you know, this is never going to end. This is brilliant. But it can be quite tricky, because you have to steer the board in certain places, and you know where it's going to die off. So there is that thought in the back of my mind that although it could go on for a long time, it could also end at any time. So you just got to soak it up and take in the moment while you're surfing, because, you know, it could be gone at any minute, or it could throw you off at any minute. You know, sometimes it's like riding a magic carpet when there's just a beautiful swell line pushing you up the river, and other times it can be like riding a wild horse. You know, the white water's breaking and it's pushing the board everywhere, and it's choppy, and you're just trying to stay on the board, you know. So you get the best of both worlds there, and you're never quite sure what it's going to be like, and that's part of the attraction, I think.
It is an absolute unique experience. It's a unique feeling that can only be felt by doing these long distances and having such a variety of different types of wave on one wave, which sounds strange, but you can have a 6 foot high breaking wave, or you can have a 6 inch high very smooth wave, or turbulent. There's such a variety, it changes, and I think that's another unique thing about it. It's the attraction for people, and that's the different types of wave on one wave. You definitely kind of become part of the wave rather than sometimes ocean surfing, especially big competition surfing and things like that, there's this kind of canvas and they kind of come in and like rip it all up and kind of, I think it would be like painting something and kind of getting a paintbrush and just doing that all over the place. Whereas I think on the river we would paint a really beautiful picture or a beautiful sunset. I think you become part of that wave, And sometimes when I'm surfing it, I can close my eyes, and I know where to surf it. If I'm in a spot where the wave's breaking that I know, I can close my eyes and surf along for kind of a couple of minutes without knowing where I'm going. And because I know exactly how that wave feels, it's taking me rather than I'm surfing it.
I can always see myself surfing on the Severn Bore, you know, for as long as I'm living where I am and my life's where I am. There'll always be a time when I'm looking at the timetable thinking, right, I'm going to go and surf it. I can't imagine a time where I don't surf the Severn Bore, or I say to people, oh, I don't surf there anymore, because it's become part of my life, really, and it's had a real positive effect. I've met lots of people, lots of friends, and it's better than sitting in the pub on a Friday night.
I've been doing it 30 years now, and I'm 50 years old, almost, next year, and I can see myself not even halfway through my stint at bore surfing, really. I guess it's the same as anything that you love doing. You can never imagine stopping. Obviously there will be a time, but it'd have to be when I'm kind of just couldn't physically do it. You know, when I can't stand up and surf on a board, I'll start lying down, because it's still part of the wave, still part of the tide going through the countryside. So I'm hoping that if I can keep my health, I'll just keep going into my 80s, 90s maybe. But yeah, I'd like to clock up at least 50 years of bore surfing. So that's my aim.
When I'm an old man sat in a chair and I can't go, these will be the memories that I keep with me every day, and the things that keep me going, and I'll have as many memories as I can, and that's why I go surfing.